Welcome to our TNT, a brand new week, and thanks for those that joined us on the weekend. Thanks for the great viewing figures last week. Let's try and do it again this week with some interesting news. Today, a bit of a mopping up of a whole lot of stories that happened last week that deserve a bit of follow-up. So, we'll start with this one. This is from the PattayaNews.com. Thai authorities to impose sobering up areas to prevent drunk driving amid 4 a.m. bar closings. Now, we're about 4 days away from the start of these new official 4 a.m. closing times. Let's see what's happening. And entertainment venues that are set to stay open until 4 a.m. in line with the Thai government's policy have been ordered to set up sobering up areas to prevent patrons from driving home drunk. And this includes bars and nightclubs, which must strictly obey the rules and regulations when they're allowed to operate until 4 a.m, starting on December the 15th. Entertainment venues in legal zones in Phuket, Chiang Mai, Chonburi, Bangkok and Suratani, that's only in Koh Samui, will be given this privilege, and this is interesting, which also applies to hotels nationwide. I'm sure a lot of hoteliers nationwide are thinking, oh, great, we can stay open until 4 a.m. The Public Health Ministry went on to say that venue operators will be required to conduct breathalyzer tests on patrons if customers' alcohol level is above the legal limit of 50 milligrams per decilitre. That's basically the 0.05% we keep on talking about. They'll need to rest at the areas provided by the venues until they're sober enough to drive home. What areas provided by the venue? In the event that a customer refuses to rest and has a breath alcohol level exceeding the legal limit, the bar operators must contact the customer's friend or relatives or hail public transport to arrange for their transportation at the customer's expense. So, two good questions posed by the PattayaNews.com. Who will be responsible for paying for the equipment, and what will they do if the customers refuse the test? So a few interesting days ahead as the owners try and figure out exactly where are we going to put these drunk patrons, who's going to pay for the breathalyzer tests, and what do we do if they decide they don't want to go home? Now, to another story, and this covered by the Household English Facebook page, and it's about the minimum wage in Thailand. And there was talk a few months ago about doubling the minimum wage or 10-20% more. Well, this is the reality. The Labour Ministry on Friday announced the new minimum wages effective from January the 1st next year. And Phuket's seen the highest increase of 16 baht to 370 baht per day. Well, that's less than 5%, and that's the highest increase, followed by Bangkok and surrounding provinces. They've got a 10 baht increase. Then the three provinces in the deep south have seen the lowest increase, as well as the lowest minimum wage, an increase of just 2 baht to 330 baht daily. So all those Thais and Burmese who are excited about getting all that extra money at the start of next year, doesn't look like they're going to really be getting much at all in that announcement from the Labour Ministry. And to our next story now, we go to Thai PBS World, and a Bangkok pub has been closed for 5 years after 120 patrons failed drug tests last night. And a pub in Bangkok's Ramintra area was ordered closed for 5 areas as an initial penalty after it was found to have been operating with an expired licence for the last 3 years, and more than 120 of its patrons failing drug screening tests. This happened on Saturday night, and it happened at the Sonic pub. All 214 patrons in the premises at the time of the raid were searched and tested for drugs, which returned 122 positive results. And officials found many baggies scattered on the floor, which are commonly used for the distribution of illegal recreational substances. Baggies, is that another word that's going to be introduced to the Webster's and the Oxford Dictionary next year? And more on that from nationthailand.com. Anutin leads crackdown on illegal pub over alleged sale of drugs. So the minister himself must have been a cold night in Bangkok, heading to be involved in the raid. And besides the pub owner, several patrons were also arrested after being found with drugs. And the minister said, "We would not tolerate illegal businesses that sell drugs. We will continue to raid these businesses and bring the operators to justice." Well, he's not quite getting the media attention he used to get, so, well, roll his sleeves up and get involved in the raids. That's a good way to keep in front of the cameras. And we head to our next story now, and Thai police counter alleged Chinese content attacking Thailand. This, of course, refers to the story last week about the Chinese TikToker in Nana Plaza who posted a TikTok video which was claiming that 99% of the people in the street were bad. I saw it as a bit of melodrama and over-exaggeration, but Thai police saw it much worse than that. The Thai police have responded to Chinese individuals creating content that portrays Thailand as dangerous. And this comes after the Thai government concluded that such content negatively impacts Chinese tourists visiting Thailand. So I think this is going to be coming down more heavily generally on people posting information about Thailand. And the Thai government preferring that you post the 10 best pad Thais in Bangkok rather than making anything critical. And the police warn that spreading false information may lead to a backlash and restrictions for those who present inaccurate portrayals. And just a bit of background on this story if you aren't aware of it. The immigration police last week confronted a Chinese woman creating content about Soi Nana in Bangkok, signalling it as a dangerous place for women. Miss Wang, who entered Thailand with the Thai privilege card, admitted that she produced the content but claimed no intention to harm Thailand, emphasising the aim to raise awareness among foreigners about certain areas women should be cautious. One of the quotes, as I mentioned, 99% of people walking on the street are not good people. Law enforcement informs the woman that her online selling activities and live streaming in Thailand violate regulations governing the work of foreigners without permission. And then, despite her denial, the police are gathering evidence to proceed with legal action, including potential blacklisting. So, if you're a tourist in Thailand, apparently you can't sell anything online. Okay, I get that. You might need a work permit. But you can't live stream? What if you're live streaming to say something positive about Thailand? Is that okay? So I'm not sure exactly where that story is going to end up, but a bit of a shot across the bows of YouTubers, TikTokers, content makers here in Thailand about crossing their T's and dotting their I's and just being careful what they say. And Thai authorities caution foreign content creators against generating negative and untrue content that impacts Thailand's tourist image. They emphasised the intention to pursue legal action for offences relating to misinformation and creating content to gain likes on social media. So it will be interesting to see how all that unfolds and whether they're going to be chasing any other content makers here in Thailand with their potential negative commentary about the kingdom. And a big thanks to our sponsor, 5-Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. There's even a special link in the description below with a special deal. And thanks to all those people who have written to me and said, hey, went to 5-Star Marine, had a fantastic day out. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, I'm very happy to recommend 5-Star Marine if you are in Phuket and heading out onto any of those amazing islands on Phangar Bay. Well, just when we thought it was safe to come back to Thailand, if you're a woman, this story appears, and it appeared in PattayaMail.com. Koh Chang officials assure safety for tourists during stay on the island. A bit of a charm offensive from tourist police there after an incident. Let's see what happened. Following a news report in the Daily Mail recently about a 24-year-old German backpacker who disclosed that she experienced a sexual assault by a local tour guide on Koh Chang in Trat, the Thai authorities took immediate action in response to protect its tourism image and prestigious standards. Okay, let's go to the original Daily Mail story and the headline, I was raped by tour guide on Thai island. He took me to a deserted beach, then forced himself on me as I was swimming in the sea. It isn't safe for women to travel alone in that country. Can anybody explain why the Daily Mail has these long, tortured headlines that really cover most of the story? Anyway, a German backpacker has spoken of her rape ordeal on a Thai island as her attacker was jailed for 2 years and 8 months without parole. The 24-year-old German had taken a solo trip to the Southeast Asian country, where she booked a tour around the tropical island of Koh Chang with a local guide who was 55 years old in February this year. And the story goes into a lot of detail. I'll just go through the main points. Florentina said she was paddling in the sea when the Thai native grabbed her from behind before pulling aside her swimsuit and penetrating her in the water. Frozen with fear, she was too afraid to scream or fight back in case he killed me, she said. And the man turned himself in at the Koh Chang police station on the same day, and on November the 30th was finally sentenced to 2 years and 8 months in prison. And the woman said she had travelled alone to other countries and always felt safe, even in the Middle East. Her parents had warned her against travelling to Thailand because of its reputation for attacks and unexplained deaths. Well, yes, there are a few unexplained deaths and there are attacks, as there are in any tourist location around the world. Whether that really is Thailand's reputation, I'd dispute it. But part of the article, at least, she does praise the tourist police. She said, "They did everything for me. They helped me so much. They fetched me and took me back to the hotel. They drove me everywhere. Even now, they're writing to me asking if everything is okay. They made me feel so safe." So in amongst her harrowing tale and her ordeal, she did have some good things to say about the tourist police. And I always recommend people remember the number 1155 if they are coming to Thailand. If you do need to get in contact with the authorities, 1155 is a good start for you. Now, another response to the story last week, and this one really did grab a lot of social media attention, and that was the Deutsche Welle documentary. Well, it was presented on Deutsche Welle, even though it was originally made by an independent filmmaker. And PattayaMail.com says Pattaya nightlife businesses vow to combat child trafficking. And the Pattaya Nightlife Business Association representative, Ms. Lisa Hamilton, says the main goal of the group is to enhance Pattaya's reputation as a tourist destination, and that the association will ensure all the workers in the nightlife businesses are above 18 years old and have valid records. And she said that the association will adopt a zero-tolerance policy towards any violations of the law and the human rights of children. And she said the association wants to create a more pleasant and harmonious environment for everyone in Pattaya. So you got the officials and the Tourism Association saying that Pattaya is a pleasant and harmonious environment. It's family-friendly, and in many cases it is. There's plenty of really family-friendly things to see in Pattaya. But there's also a hub of people that travel to Pattaya for other activities that usually happen in the evening and in a set of sois that are, given what happened to the Chinese Tin Tokker, I'm not really sure if I can even list those sois or talk about exactly what happens there. So I won't. Now, a story I really didn't think I'd be reading out today. In fact, a story I never thought I'd really see. But here we go. And this is BangkokPost.com. Prisoner who escaped after penis surgery recaptured. And a prisoner who escaped from a surgical ward of Banglamung Hospital after undergoing surgery for a penis infection on Saturday has been recaptured. And the 37-year-old was found 7 a.m. yesterday morning by corrections officials while hiding on the rooftop of a one-storey building of the psychiatry ward, only about 20 metres away from the surgical ward. He's serving time at Pattaya Remand Prison after being convicted in a theft case, and he was admitted to the Banglamung Hospital on December the 6th after suffering a severe infection from injections to enlarge his penis. So it's not really clear here whether he had the injections for this procedure before he was in custody or during custody. And after a surgical procedure, he was put in a room for patients on the 7th floor of the surgical ward for recovery. And the man cut off the chains around his ankles with a pair of pliers and escaped from the room at about 2 a.m. on Saturday. His disappearance prompted a search. He told police that after breaking loose from the hospital, he ran into the forest behind the premises and threw the pliers he used to cut the chains into the bushes. And the pliers had been given to him earlier by his wife. I'm really hoping the pliers were inside a chocolate cake as she smuggled them into the jail. But another case of a prisoner getting health care, escaping, and seemingly quite easily. But as to exactly the original procedure and when it happened, no information in that article. But we do hope he's feeling better very soon. And with that, I thank you very much for watching. I thank 5starmarinephuket.com, and I also thank all the subscribers and the great support. We'll be back again tomorrow to check out all the main news stories, and we'll see you then.